Zachary had known Ethan since their freshman year at the University of Washington, bonded over late-night ramen and shared gripes about the endless drizzle that turned every walk into a meditation on misery. Ethan was the easy one, all broad smiles and zero drama, the kind of friend who dragged you to warehouse parties in Capitol Hill just to watch you loosen up. Tonight's bash had been one of those, a throbbing mass of bodies in a converted loft, bass vibrating through the floorboards while colored lights painted everyone in fleeting hues of electric blue and crimson. Zachary had gone because Ethan insisted, because saying no meant admitting he was still tangled in the knots of his own secrecy. The weight of eyes that might judge if they knew the truth about who he really wanted to pull close in the dark. He was 25 now, a graphic designer scraping by in a shared Belltown studio, sketching logos for startups that promised to change the world, but mostly just sold overpriced coffee apps. Life felt like a series of half-rendered sketches himself, lines that blurred at the edges. He'd come out to a handful of people over the years, Ethan included, in a casual spill over beers one rainy afternoon, but it never stuck the way it did in those coming-out montages on Netflix, all triumphant music and tearful hugs. Instead, it lingered like damp fog, seeping into every interaction, making him second-guess every glance, every brush of shoulders in a crowded bar. The party had started innocently enough. Shots of something cheap and fiery passed around like secrets. Zachary nursed his, watching Ethan dance with a girl named Riley, her laughter cutting through the din like sunlight. He envied that ease, the way bodies moved without hesitation. By midnight, the room spun with possibility, strangers grinding close, whispers hot against necks. Zachary let himself drift, a hand on his waist from some guy with a sleeve of tattoos, but it fizzled fast, leaving him hollow. When the lights flickered on at 2 a.m., announcing last call for sanity, he realized he was too wrecked to navigate the bus back to his place. Ethan's apartment in Fremont was closer, a quirky walk-up with troll statues guarding the stoop and the scent of fresh bagels wafting from the bakery below. That's when Liam appeared, filling the doorway like he owned the shadows. Zachary had met him only a few times, always in passing, Ethan waving him off with a, "That's my big bro," the brooding artist type. Liam was 30 or thereabouts, with the kind of build that spoke of manual labor and skipped gym sessions, broad shoulders under a faded flannel that hung open over a plain tee. His hair was dark, cropped close on the sides, longer on top in a way that begged to be ruffled, and his face carried the faint map of stubble that made him look perpetually on the edge of something. But it was his eyes, hazel flecked with gold, that hit hardest now, locking onto Zachary with an accusation that felt personal, intimate. "What the hell, Zach?" Liam's voice was low, gravelly from sleep or smoke, but it carried the weight of a gavel. He stepped aside just enough to let Zachary in, but his body language screamed barrier, not welcome. The apartment was dim, lit only by the glow of a muted TV in the living room, casting flickering ghosts across the walls lined with Ethan's vinyl collection and Liam's half-finished canvases, splatters of oil paint frozen mid-drip. Ethan was crashed on the couch, mouth slack, an empty beer bottle cradled in his lap like a teddy bear. Zachary mumbled an apology, kicking off his boots by the door, the thud echoing too loud in the quiet. His socks were damp from the rain, sticking to the hardwood as he edged toward the hallway. "Sorry, man. Party got away from me." Ethan said it was cool. Liam didn't move, his arms still crossed, blocking the path like a sentinel. Up close, Zachary caught the scent of him, clean soap undercut with something earthier, like pine from a recent hike in the Cascades. "Ethan says a lot of things. Doesn't make it true." There was no bite in the words, just a weary edge, as if Liam had spent years corralling his brother's chaos. But beneath it, Zachary sensed a current, electric and unspoken, pulling at him like the tide under the Ballard locks. He should have just nodded, shuffled to the guest room Ethan kept for nights like this. But the whiskey loosened his tongue, and the way Liam's jaw tightened made him push back. "Look, if it's a problem, I can call another ride. No big deal." His voice came out steadier than he felt, but his heart hammered, a traitorous rhythm that had nothing to do with the alcohol. Liam's eyes flicked over him then, taking in the disheveled shirt, the flush still high on his cheeks from the cold. For a beat, the air thickened, charged with the kind of tension that precedes a storm. Then Liam exhaled, uncrossing his arms, the flannel shifting to reveal the taut line of his collarbone. Forget it. Crash here. Just keep it down. He turned away, but not before Zachary caught the ghost of a smirk, or was it a wince? The door to what must have been Liam's room clicked shut behind him, leaving Zachary adrift in the hallway, pulse racing for reasons he couldn't name. He collapsed onto the futon in the spare room, the thin mattress sagging under his weight, staring at the ceiling fan that whirred lazily like his thoughts. Sleep should have come easy, but it evaded him, chased off by the echo of Liam's voice, the heat of that gaze. Zachary rolled onto his side, burying his face in the pillow that smelled faintly of laundry detergent and solitude. In the quiet, his mind replayed the party in fragments. The press of bodies, the fleeting thrill of a stranger's breath on his ear, the ache of wanting more but settling for less. He'd always been careful, boundaries drawn in invisible ink, but tonight, crossing into Ethan's space felt like stepping over a line he hadn't known was there. Hours later, or minutes, he couldn't tell, a soft creak pulled him from the haze. The door edged open, spilling hallway light across the floor. Liam stood there, silhouetted, a glass of water in hand. "Thought you might need this," he said, voice softer now, stripped of the earlier edge. He crossed the room in 2 strides, setting the glass on the nightstand with a gentleness that belied his frame. Up close in the low light, Zachary saw the fine lines around his eyes, the kind etched by too many sleepless nights or buried regrets. "Thanks," Zachary murmured, sitting up, the sheet pooling around his waist. Their knees nearly brushed, and the proximity sent a spark up his spine, unbidden and unwelcome in its intensity. He took the glass, fingers grazing Liam's, rough calluses from paintbrushes or whatever haunted his days. The touch lingered a fraction too long, electric, before Liam pulled back, shoving his hands into his pockets. "Don't mention it." Liam hesitated, as if words were piling up behind his teeth, then shook his head. "Ethan's got a shift at the cafe tomorrow. Early. Try not to wake him when you bail." But he didn't leave, not immediately. Instead, he leaned against the wall, arms loose now, watching Zachary with that same dissecting gaze. "Rough night." Zachary laughed, a low, self-deprecating sound that tasted like regret. "Aren't they all?" He sipped the water, cool against his parched throat, buying time. "You? Up late painting or just playing bouncer?" Liam's mouth quirked, the almost smirk again. "Something like that." He pushed off the wall, finally turning for the door. "Night, Zach." The door clicked shut, and Zachary was alone again, the room heavier with absence. He drained the glass, set it aside, and lay back, the fan's blades slicing the darkness. Sleep came in fits, dreams tangled with rain and hazel eyes, bodies close but always just out of reach. When morning light filtered through the blinds, gray and insistent, he woke to the smell of coffee brewing, the clatter of mugs in the kitchen. Ethan was up, humming off-key to some indie playlist, oblivious to the undercurrent that had crackled through the night. Zachary dressed quickly, splashing water on his face in the tiny bathroom, avoiding his reflection's accusatory stare. By the time he emerged, Liam was gone, his coffee mug rinsed and upside down on the dish rack, a silent exit. Ethan clapped him on the back, grinning. "Dude, you look like hell. Good times." "Yeah," Zachary lied, forcing a smile as he grabbed his jacket. "Epic." But as he stepped out into the drizzle, the city waking around him with its honks and steam from manhole covers, he couldn't shake the feeling that something had shifted, irreversible, like a canvas marked with the first bold stroke. The week blurred by in a haze of deadlines and double espressos, Zachary burying himself in pixel pushing at his desk, the glow of his monitor a poor substitute for the warmth he'd glimpsed in that shadowed apartment. He texted Ethan about grabbing wings at the local dive, a neutral ground, but his mind wandered to Liam, replaying the tension like a loop of forbidden footage. Was it nothing? Just the awkwardness of crashing unannounced, amplified by the witching hour? Or had he imagined the pull? The way Liam's presence filled the room like smoke? Friday rolled around. Another invitation from Ethan for a low-key gathering at their place. Just a few folks, beers, and bad movies. Zachary almost declined, citing a fictional pitch meeting, but curiosity won, a moth to flame. He showed up with a six-pack and a knot in his gut, the stairs creaking under his boots like a warning. Ethan greeted him with a bro hug, the apartment alive now with laughter and the sizzle of takeout pizza. Riley was there, curled on the couch, and a couple of Ethan's co-workers from the coffee shop, trading stories about entitled customers. Liam was in the kitchen, pouring drinks, his back to the room, flannel swapped for a worn Henley that hugged his shoulders. He turned at Zachary's entrance, their eyes meeting across the space, a current jumping the gap. "Zach," Liam said, neutral, handing him a beer from the cooler. Their fingers brushed again. Deliberate this time, or was it? Zachary's throat tightened, the bottle cold against his palm. The evening unfolded in easy rhythms, the group settling into a marathon of 80s horror flicks, screams punctuating bad jokes. Zachary positioned himself on the floor, back against the couch, close enough to feel the heat from Liam's legs dangling over the armrest. Every shift, every rustle of fabric, sent his awareness spiking, a low hum under his skin. He stole glances, catching Liam's profile lit by the screen's glow, jaw set in concentration or distraction. Halfway through the second film, Ethan yawned, stretching. "I'm tapping out. Early shift again." He shuffled off to his room, Riley trailing with a murmured goodnight, leaving the others to fend for themselves. The co-workers bailed soon after, citing Ubers and work, until it was just Zachary and Liam, the TV droning on about final girls and slashers. "You sticking around?" Liam asked, muting the volume, the sudden quiet amplifying the rain pattering against the window. Zachary shrugged, feigning nonchalance. "If it's cool. Don't want to overstay." Liam stood, stretching, his shirt riding up to reveal a sliver of skin, toned and dusted with hair. "It's cool." He headed to the kitchen, returning with 2 fresh beers. "Want to see something?" Intrigued, Zachary followed him down the hall to Liam's room, a space that smelled of turpentine and rain-soaked earth. Canvases leaned against walls, bursts of color in abstract fury, blues and grays bleeding into fiery oranges. Liam flipped on a desk lamp, its light warm and contained, illuminating a half-finished piece on the easel. A figure emerging from fog, face obscured but posture screaming isolation. "Damn!" Zachary breathed, stepping closer. "This is intense." Liam leaned against the desk, arms crossed loosely. "Yeah, trying to capture that moment when everything's about to break." His voice dropped, confessional. "You ever feel like that? Like one wrong move, and it all shatters?" Zachary's chest tightened, the words landing too close to home. He nodded, eyes on the canvas, afraid to meet Liam's. "All the time, like you're hiding in plain sight, waiting for the mask to slip." The silence stretched, heavy with possibility. Then Liam moved, closing the distance, his hand lifting as if to touch Zachary's shoulder but hovering. "Ethan doesn't know," he said finally, the words rough. "About me." The admission hung there, a bridge extended over the chasm. Zachary turned, their faces inches apart, breaths mingling. "Me neither. Not fully. Not with everyone." Liam's eyes searched his, vulnerability cracking the surface. "It's exhausting." Before Zachary could respond, Liam's hand cupped his jaw, thumb tracing the line of stubble, tentative, then firm. The kiss, when it came, was inevitable, a collision of pent-up storms, lips crashing with the force of unspoken years. Zachary's hands fisted in Liam's shirt, pulling him closer, the world narrowing to the heat of mouths, the scrape of teeth, the gasp that escaped when tongues met. They broke apart, foreheads pressed, breathing ragged. "This is crazy," Zachary whispered, but he didn't pull away. Liam's laugh was low, shaky. "Welcome to my world." The kiss lingered like a bruise, tender and insistent, as Zachary pulled back just enough to search Liam's face in the lamplight. Those hazel eyes, usually guarded, now held a raw openness that made his stomach twist with equal parts fear and hunger. The room felt smaller, the air thick with the scent of paint and possibility, the distant hum of the city a faint reminder that this wasn't a dream. Liam's hand still rested on his jaw, thumb brushing idly, as if afraid to let go. "We should talk," Zachary said, voice husky, the words feeling inadequate against the pulse thundering in his ears. But talk was safe, a tether to reality before they tumbled further. Liam nodded, stepping back, running a hand through his hair, musing it further. "Yeah, sit." He gestured to the edge of the unmade bed, a tangle of sheets and sketchpads, while he perched on a stool by the easel. The distance between them was mere feet, but it yawned like a fault line. "Ethan's straight as an arrow, always has been. Grew up in this bubble, you know? Dad bailed when we were kids, Mom worked doubles at the hospital. I was the one holding it together, making sure he didn't spiral." Zachary listened, knees bumping the bed frame, absorbing the sketch of Liam's life he'd only glimpsed in fragments. Ethan had mentioned the absent father once, over whiskey sours, but never the weight it left behind. "Sounds heavy. Art your escape?" Liam's gaze drifted to the canvas, fingers twitching as if itching for a brush. "Escape, therapy, whatever. Started in high school, hiding sketches in my locker because the jocks would have torched them. Came out to Mom at 18, right before I enlisted. Marines. Thought structure would fix me." He snorted, bitter edge creeping in. "It didn't. Stationed in Afghanistan. Sand in everything. Buddies dying. And I'm lying awake wondering if I'll ever touch someone without the world ending." The confession landed like gravel in still water, ripples spreading through Zachary. He leaned forward, elbows on knees. "I get that. Grew up in Spokane, Bible Belt light. Dad's a logger, Mom teaches kindergarten. They love me, but the questions. When you meeting a nice girl, Zach? Every family dinner." He paused, the old ache surfacing. "Moved to Seattle for college to breathe, but it's still there, this half-life. Dates and shadows, apps that feel like transactions." Liam's eyes met his, a spark of recognition. "Apps. God, the ghosts on those. One-night stands that leave you emptier." He stood, pacing the narrow space, energy coiled tight. "Met this guy last year, Alex. Artist like me, all charm and chaos. We hooked up at a gallery opening in Pioneer Square. Thought it was something real. Moved in together after 3 months, stupid fast." Zachary's gut clenched, not jealousy, but the prelude to pain he knew too well. "What happened?" Liam stopped, back to the wall, sliding down to sit on the floor, knees drawn up. "He cheated. With my dealer of all people. Found out when I came home early from a commission. Walked in on them in our bed. The betrayal. Gutted me. Haven't painted anything whole since." His voice cracked, just a hair, but enough to pierce Zachary's chest. "I'm sorry," Zachary whispered, sliding off the bed to join him on the floor, their shoulders brushing. The contact grounded him, a silent promise. "That sucks. The kind that makes you question everything." They sat like that, backs to the wall, beers forgotten, the night deepening outside. Liam's head tipped back, eyes closing. "Why'd you kiss back?" "With me." Zachary considered, honesty the only currency now. "Because it felt right. Scary but right. Like finally seeing color after grayscale." Liam turned, their faces close again, breaths sinking. This time, the kiss was slower, exploratory, hands mapping shoulders and waists with deliberate care. It built like a crescendo, shirts shed in a rustle of fabric, skin meeting skin in the lamplight's glow. Zachary traced the scars on Liam's torso, faint lines from service, each one a story etched in flesh. Liam's touch was reverent, fingers threading through Zachary's hair, pulling him down onto the sheets. Afterward, they lay tangled, sweat cooling, hearts slowing to match. Liam's arm draped over Zachary's waist, heavy and reassuring. "Stay," he murmured into the crook of his neck. "I will." Zachary's voice was sleep-thick, but his mind raced, cataloging the moment. The rise and fall of Liam's chest, the faint scar on his knuckle, the way vulnerability looked on a man built for battle. Morning came with Seattle's signature gray, light seeping under the blinds like an uninvited guest. Zachary woke first, Liam's leg thrown over his, face slack in sleep, softer than the night before. He extricated himself gently, padding to the kitchen in borrowed sweats, starting coffee to the rhythm of his whirring thoughts. What now? Labels felt trivial, but the fear of complication loomed, Ethan's face flashing in his mind. Ethan emerged yawning, hair a riot, oblivious. Morning, sunshine. Liam up yet? Dude's a vampire. Zachary forced a laugh, handing him a mug. Not yet. You want eggs? They cooked in companionable silence, Ethan chattering about a barista feud, until Liam shuffled in, eyes puffy but clear. His gaze found Zachary's, a private code in the tilt of his mouth. Smells good. Breakfast was easy, the three of them around the scarred oak table, banter flowing like the coffee. But under it, Zachary felt the shift, a new gravity pulling him toward Liam. After, Ethan headed out for a run along the canal, leaving them alone with dishes and daylight. Liam cornered him by the sink, suds dripping from a plate. Last night was amazing, Zachary finished, turning to face him, water beating on his forearms. But Ethan, Liam nodded, drying his hands on a towel. We'll tell him, soon. Can't build on secrets. The days that followed were a stolen montage, texts buzzing like fireflies. Miss your laugh. Coffee runs turning into walks in Discovery Park, hands brushing until fingers laced. Dinners at hole-in-the-wall faux spots in the International District, knees touching under Formica tables, sharing bites and backstories. Liam opened up about the Marines, the dust-choked patrols, the letters home that lied about being fine. Zachary shared his design sketches, the ones too personal for clients, abstract swirls of longing in electric blues. One evening, after a showing of Liam's work at a small gallery in Ballard, they slipped away to the waterfront, the Ferris wheel's lights twinkling over the sound. Wine loosened tongues, and Liam pulled Zachary into an alcove, kissing him fierce against the brick, oblivious to passers-by. Your trouble? Liam growled, playful, but his eyes held heat. Good trouble? Zachary shot back, nipping his lip, but cracks appeared, subtle at first. A call from Alex, Liam's ex, voice slurring through the phone one night. Miss you, babe. Come back. Liam hung up, face ashen. But the seed was planted, doubt whispering. Zachary felt it too, the pull of old habits, a grinder notification he ignored but didn't delete. The weekend brought Ethan's birthday, a backyard barbecue at their place, string lights and craft brews under the persistent mist. Friends milled about, Riley grilling skewers, laughter rising like smoke. Zachary arrived with a wrapped vinyl of Ethan's favorite band, hugging him tight. Happy birthday, man. Liam hovered at the grill, flipping burgers, their eyes meeting in coded glances. But midway through, Alex showed up, uninvited, bottle in hand, charm dialed to 11. Heard it was the big day, Liam mentioned once. The air soured, Liam's jaw locking as Alex clapped Ethan on the back. Too familiar. Zachary watched from the sidelines, stomach churning, the easy joy fracturing. Alex's eyes lingered on Liam, hungry, and when he cornered him by the cooler, words low and urgent, Zachary's world tilted again. He stepped in casual. Hey, need a hand with that? Alex sized him up, smirk sharp. Who's this? New muse. Liam's hand found Zachary's shoulder, grounding. Friend. Zach, Alex, ex. The word hung, a gauntlet. Alex laughed, but it rang false. Water under the bridge, right, Lee? He sauntered off, but the damage lingered, a shadow over the toasts. Later, as guests thinned, Ethan pulled Zachary aside, beer in hand. You and Liam. Something's up. Spill. Zachary's heart stuttered, but honesty won. Yeah, we're seeing where it goes. Ethan's grin was genuine, clapping his back. About time someone thawed him out. Just don't fuck it up, yeah. Relief flooded, but as the night wound down, Alex's parting shot echoed. A text to Liam, visible on the counter. We had something real. This kid's a rebound. Doubt crept in, cold and insistent. The barbecue's afterglow faded into a restless Sunday. Zachary nursing a hangover of emotions more than alcohol. Sprawled on his studio couch with sketchpad in lap. Lines bled across the page, jagged forms evoking Liam's silhouette against the harbor lights. But doubt shaded the edges. Smudges where Alex's ghost intruded. His phone buzzed, Liam's name lighting the screen. Come over. We need to hash this. The drive across the bridge felt eternal. Wipers slapping rain like accusations. Fremont welcomed him with its quirky murals and the hum of the Sunday market. But his mind churned scenarios. Liam's second-guessing, the kiss a fluke, Alex's words a wedge. He parked crookedly, climbed the stairs with leaden steps. Liam opened the door barefoot, in jeans and a thermal that clung to his frame, hair damp from a shower. No preamble, he pulled Zachary inside, backing him against the wall for a kiss that tasted of mint and urgency, hands framing his face. Ignore him, Liam murmured against his lips. Alex's noise. Your signal. Relief crashed through, Zachary's arms wrapping around him. Bodies aligning in familiar heat. They tumbled to the couch, kisses deepening, but talk won out, words spilling between breaths. He crashed the party like he owns the space, Zachary said, head on Liam's chest, listening to the steady thrum. Made me feel temporary. Liam's fingers traced his spine, soothing. You're not. Alex was a storm, all flash, no foundation. With you, it's steady, real. He shifted, propping on elbow, eyes serious. But we gotta be smart. Ethan's cool, but the world's not always kind. They spent the day cocooned, ordering Thai from the spot down the block, plates balanced on knees while binging documentaries on street artists in Brooklyn, drawing parallels to Liam's own stalled work. Inspiration flickered. Liam grabbed a sketchbook, pencils flying as Zachary posed on the floor, legs crossed, light catching the curve of his neck. Like that, Liam muttered, capturing the vulnerability in quick strokes. Your eyes. They pull everything in. Zachary flushed, heat low in his belly. Flatterer. But he held the pose, basking in the gaze that stripped him bare without shame. The idyll stretched into evenings of quiet domesticity. Grocery runs to the co-op, where Liam teased Zachary's obsession with organic kale, their cart bumping like flirtation. Movie nights with Ethan, now in on the secret, his grins conspiratorial as he accidentally left them alone. One night, over homemade lasagna, Ethan raised a glass. To thawing the Ice King, and to Zach, for not running. Laughter flowed, but under it, Liam tensed at mentions of the gallery circuit, his latest show a whisper away. Pushing the deadline, he admitted later. In bed, Zachary's head pillowed on his thigh. Feels like exposing veins. Then bleed, Zachary urged, fingers circling his knee. It's you. Raw and true. The opening arrived midweek, a crisp October evening that bit at exposed skin. The gallery in Ballard buzzed, white walls stark against Liam's canvases, each a storm of emotion. Fractured skies over urban sprawl, figures half lost in mist, eyes that pierced like accusations. Zachary arrived early, in a crisp button-down Ethan had loaned him, nerves jangling as he scanned the crowd for familiar faces. Liam spotted him first, weaving through patrons, hand finding the small of Zachary's back. You came. Relief softened his features, tie loose around his neck. Wouldn't miss it. Zachary squeezed his hand, hidden from view. These are incredible. Like looking inside you. Liam's smile was private, heated. Later, I'll show you more. The night unfolded in waves. Critics murmuring approvals, buyers circling like sharks, Ethan charming a collector with tales of Liam's tortured genius. Alex slunk in late, suit sharp, eyes predatory. He cornered Liam by a sculpture, voice carrying. Bold move, airing our dirty laundry. The canvas beside them swirled with betrayal's reds. Liam stiffened, but Zachary was there, sliding between. Enjoying the show? His tone was even but steel underpinned. Alex's laugh was oily. Oh, I am. Rebound art. Cute. Move on, Liam said, low and final, arm around Zachary's waist. We're done. Alex's exit was a slink, but the venom lingered, patrons whispering. Later, as the crowd thinned, a buyer snapped up the central piece, the one of the emerging figure. Champagne flowed, toasts raised, but Liam pulled Zachary into the back room, amid stacked crates, kissing him fierce. You were my anchor tonight. Heat built, hands roaming, but a knock interrupted, Ethan, grinning. Proud of you, bro. Let's celebrate proper. The after-party at a dive near the locks was raucous, shots of whiskey chasing adrenaline. Liam loosened, arm around Zachary's shoulders, possessive in the dim light. But as the hour crept past midnight, a call came. Liam's phone, unknown number. He stepped out, rain muffling his voice, returning pale. Mom, she's in the ER. Fall at work. The bar's cheer evaporated. Ethan drove, Zachary in the back with Liam, hand clasped tight. The hospital in Capitol Hill loomed sterile under fluorescence. Mom, Sarah, in a curtained bay, ankle sprained but spirits unbroken. Silly me, slipped on a chart, she said, hugging Liam fierce, then turning to Zachary with warm eyes. And who's this handsome stranger? Zachary, Liam supplied, voice thick. A friend. Sarah's gaze sharpened, maternal radar pinging, but she smiled. Well, Zachary, stick around. My boys need good ones. Discharge papers signed, they bundled her into a cab home to her senior apartment in Queen and promising check-ins. The drive back was silent, exhaustion settling like dew. At the apartment, Ethan crashed immediately, but Liam lingered in the kitchen, staring at the fridge's hum. She's getting older. Can't keep playing hero forever. Zachary pulled him close, chin on shoulder. You don't have to alone. That vulnerability cracked wider days later, when Liam's brush stalled mid-stroke, canvas mocking him. It's gone, he confessed over coffee, frustration etching lines deeper. The fire. Zachary saw it then, the chasm Alex had carved, self-doubt a thief. Then we find it. He canceled a client call, dragged Liam to the arboretum. Autumn leaves carpeting paths in gold and crimson. They wandered, hands linked in pockets, stopping at a pond where ducks skimmed the surface. Remember that first night? The water you brought me? Liam chuckled, soft. Yeah, looked like a drowned puppy. Showed up for me. Zachary turned him, cupping his face. Let me show up for you. Inspiration struck there, under the maples, Liam sketching on a napkin. Ducks as metaphors for fleeting peace. Back home, the easel called, Zachary feeding him prompts, posing in sunlight slants, their laughter echoing. But harmony frayed at the edges. A work trip loomed for Zachary, a week in Portland for a startup pitch, leaving Liam to solo nights. Texts bridged the gap. Miss your chaos. Bed's too big. But on night 3, a photo pinged. Liam at a bar opening, arm around a curly-haired guy, captions joking new muse. Jealousy spiked, irrational but potent. Zachary called, voice tight. Who's the arm candy? Liam's laugh was immediate. Cousin idiot. Family reunion trap. Relief, then guilt. Sorry. Alex echoes. Trust us, Liam soothed. We're solid. Return brought reunion heat. Airport pickup turning to backseat makeout in the parking garage. Risks be damned. But whispers grew. A mutual friend texting Zachary. Heard Liam's ex is stirring shit online. Careful. Doubt nipped again, but they pushed through, planning a getaway to the Olympics, cabin rental for leaf peeping and disconnection. The drive wound through evergreens. Radio crooning folk tunes, windows down despite chill. The cabin perched on a bluff, wood smoke and pine, no signal bars. Nights blurred. Firelit confessions, bodies entwined on flannel sheets, exploring scars and sighs. Mornings hiking ridges, hands clasped, world vast and theirs. This, Liam said atop a viewpoint, wind whipping. This is what I paint for. Zachary kissed him, saltang of sea air. Then paint it. Back in Seattle, reality intruded. Ethan's lease renewal sparked talk of moving. A larger place perhaps. Room for 3. Teasing but loaded. Liam's next show loomed. Pressure mounting. Canvases piling like accusations. Then the bomb. Alex, emailing gallery contacts. Anonymous tips of plagiarized inspiration. Dredging old sketches from their shared past. Whispers reached Liam mid-setup. A curator's hesitant call. Heard rumblings. True. Fury boiled. Liam slamming the phone. Face storm dark. That bastard. Twisting my work. Zachary arrived to chaos. Paint-splattered fists clenched. We'll fight it. Proof's yours. But Liam's eyes hollowed, trust fracturing. What if it's not just him? What if I'm the fraud? The argument ignited. Words like sparks. Zachary accusing avoidance. Liam lashing at intrusion. You don't get it. This isn't your mess. Doors opened both ways. Zachary shot back, hurt flaying. He stormed out, rain lashing, leaving Liam to the wreckage. Days of radio silence. City a maze of avoidance. Zachary buried in work, sketches dark and angular. Ethan mediated, texts pleading, talk, guys. He's spiraling. Reconciliation brewed at a neutral ground. The locks at dusk, salmon leaping like hopes. Liam waited, hands jammed in pockets, face gaunt. I lashed out, fear talking. Zachary nodded, throat tight. Me too, but we can't let him win. Arms wrapped, forgiveness in the squeeze, but scars lingered, tender. The détente held fragile as autumn frost. Zachary and Liam navigating the minefield of mending with cautious steps, like dancers testing a stage after quake. They reconvened at a quiet cafe in Wallingford, corner booth with steamed windows blurring the world. Lattes cooling as apologies warmed the air. Liam's hand covered Zachary's on the table, thumbs circling knuckles. A silent vow. I built walls after Alex. You're chipping them, and it terrifies. Zachary squeezed back, honesty his chisel. Same. Growing up queer in a small town, I learned to armor up. But with you, I want bare. From there, they rebuilt deliberate. Therapy sessions Liam started. Virtual with a counselor specializing in vets. Zachary tagging along for couples intake, unpacking layers. Evenings turned ritual. Shared journals where words flowed freer than speech. Liam's pages raw with desert memories. Zachary's swirling with identity sketches. Figures half emerged from shadows. Ethan's move-in tease became plan. Scouting a triplex in Green Lake. 3 units under one roof. Privacy with proximity. Family without the Brady Bunch cheese. Ethan quipped over packing boxes. Tape gun whirring. The shift felt monumental. Roots deepening in Seattle's loam. Liam's show prep intensified. Studio hours stretching. Zachary bringing takeout and back rubs. Watching color return to his strokes. One night, canvas near done. Liam pulled him close, paint-smeared lips on neck. This one's us. The light breaking through. Zachary peered, seeing it. 2 forms intertwined in dawn haze, eyes locked in quiet fire. Beautiful, like hope. But Alex's shadow lengthened, emails escalating to social posts. Veiled jabs at opportunists stealing thunder. Liam's phone lit with notifications, face hardening each ping. Block him, Zachary urged, but Liam shook head. Confront. End it. The meet was set neutral. A park bench by Green Lake. Autumn leaves skittering like nerves. Alex arrived slick, coffee in hand, smirk intact. Missed this drama? Liam's voice steel. Cut the crap. The smears stop. My work's mine. Alex leaned back, casual venom. Prove it. Or maybe your boy's the thief. Huh? Snagging ideas from the broken. Zachary bristled, but Liam's hand on his knee steadied. We're done. Legal if needed. Alex's laugh faded as they walked away, but the poison seeped, doubts drip. That night, Liam unraveled, bottle of bourbon half gone, eyes red-rimmed. What if he's right? What if I'm borrowing pain for art? Zachary knelt before him, hands on thighs. Your pain's yours. Transformed. That's genius. Comfort turned carnal. Bodies seeking solace, slow and sacred, reaffirming in gasps and grips. Dawn found them spent but fortified. The show opened to acclaim, critics praising the visceral authenticity. Buyers lining up, whispers of Alex drowned in applause. Liam glowed, arm linked with Zachary's through the throng. Ethan's cheers loudest. After, rooftop bar overlooking the sound, stars pricking velvet sky, toasts to futures. But complacency crept, routines dulling edges. Zachary's freelance dried, pitches rejected, insecurity gnawing. Am I enough? He confessed one gray morning, rain sheeting windows. Liam pulled him from the sill, kiss firm. More than will weather. Yet stress simmered, manifesting in small fissures. Forgotten anniversaries of first kiss, snapped words over chores. A weekend escape to San Juan Islands, ferry rocking gentle, aimed to mend. Cabin by shore, seals barking. They kayaked coves, laughter echoing off bluffs. Nights by driftwood fire, stories spun of dreams. Liam's gallery solo in New York, Zachary's design firm. Intimacy reignited, exploratory, Liam's hands mapping new territories, whispers of forever. Marry me? He murmured post-climax, half jest, half prayer. Zachary's heart soared, but caution tempered. Someday, when ready, return brought grind, but buoyed. Then fracture. Ethan's discovery of old texts from Alex on Liam's burner phone. Hidden relic. Why keep this? Ethan confronted, hurt raw. After everything? Liam paled, explanations tumbling. Forgot to trash. Nothing. But trust splintered. Ethan withdrawing, roommate chill descending. Zachary mediated, heart aching for the trio's fracture. Talk it out, he urged, but words walled. Crisis peaked at holiday near, Thanksgiving table tense, turkey carving like surgery. Sarah visited, sensing rift, her stories of resilience a balm. Families bend, don't break if roots deep. Post-feast walk, brothers hashed under street lamps, Ethan forgiving slow. Don't hide shit from me again. Liam nodded, vow etched. Promise. Healing threaded, but Zachary felt the strain, his own secrets bubbling. A job offer in LA, 6 figures, escape from Seattle's squeeze. He mulled silent, weighing love against ambition. Confession came fireside, you'll log crackling. Got an offer. Los Angeles. Liam's face shadowed, firelight dancing pain. When new? Weeks. Guilt choked. Didn't want to jinx. Hurt flared, argument erupting. Liam accusing flight, Zachary defending dreams. This isn't running. It's building. Doors again. Liam echoed old wound, voice breaking. But this one's slamming. Zachary left, hotel night cold, city lights mocking. Days blurred, calls unanswered, Ethan bridging. He misses you, scared. Reunion brewed at Christmas market, mulled wine steaming, lights twinkling. Liam waited by carousel, coat dusted snow. Don't go. Zachary's resolve cracked. Not without you. Negotiation followed, compromise, trial in LA, Liam visiting, remote art. But undercurrent pulled, Zachary accepting, heart heavy. Move day dawned crisp, U-Haul loaded, Ethan hugging fierce. Call. Often. Ella swallowed him. Sun blinding after drizzle, palm shadows long. Apartment in Silver Lake, views of hills but echoey alone. Liam's flights bridged. Weekends tangled in sheets, but distance gnawed, texts terse. Alex resurfaced, DM to Zachary. Heard your solo. Want company? I know his tricks. Delete, block but seed planted. Paranoia whispered during long nights. Design meetings blurring into doubt. Climax crashed mid-spring. Liam's surprise visit, airport reunion kiss melting reservations. But hotel fight ignited over a misinterpreted text. Zachary's colleague, flirty banter innocent. Hiding again? Liam accused, old scars ripping. Pain lashed, Zachary shoving back. You're projecting, Alex. Words flew, doors slammed. Liam storming flight home. Zachary alone, city vast, tears hot on cheeks. Rock bottom. Binge designing till dawn? Crash. Wake to voicemail, Liam. Voice wrecked. I love you. Fight for us. Flight booked. Heart pounding, Seattle landing, rain welcome. Apartment dark. Ethan letting in. Upstairs. Waiting. Liam on roof, city sprawl below. Face streaked. Sorry. Fear one. Embrace fierce. Sobs mingling. Love you too. Stay. Decision flipped. Decline LA. Seattle roots deeper. Joint therapy resumed. Boundaries redrawn. Summer bloomed renewal. Gallery co-op for Liam. Zachary partnering freelance with local firm. Dates rediscovered. Picnics in volunteer park. Bodies under cherry blossoms. Hands laced eternal. But humanity's hue tempered joy. Sarah's diagnosis, early dementia, shadows lengthening. They rallied, caregiving rotations. Liam's brush capturing her laugh in portraits. Through it, bond fortified, love's forge. Summer's languid heat draped Seattle in uncharacteristic haze, the kind that turned Lake Union into a mirror of molten silver. But for Zachary and Liam, it was a canvas for reconstruction. Each day a deliberate stroke toward solidity. The LA shadow lingered like a faint underdrawing, a reminder etched in their shared vocabulary of almost losses, but they painted over it with actions. Weekly check-ins at the therapist's office in Capitol Hill, a sunlit space with ferns and frankness, where Liam unpacked the abandonment echoes from his father's exit, and Zachary confronted his flight impulse, rooted in a childhood of whispered judgments at church potlucks. You're both architects of your own belonging, the therapist would say, her voice a steady metronome. As they nodded, hands clasped under the tissue box. Outside sessions, they built tangible. A joint studio in their new Green Lake rental, a converted garage with north-facing windows and shelves of pigments and vectors, where Liam's easel neighbored Zachary's drafting table. Mornings blurred into collaboration, Zachary's digital lines inspiring Liam's oils, a hybrid piece emerging. Urban skyline fractured by human forms, reaching. Ethan thrived in the equilibrium, his cafe shifts funding guitar lessons, jams in the living room turning evenings melodic, his easy tenor weaving through their harmonies. You two are gross inspiring, he'd tease, strumming a chord progression that mocked wedding marches. But his eyes held pride, the brotherly bond mended tighter than before. Sarah's condition cast a gathering dusk, her queen and apartment a time capsule of faded photos and forgotten appointments. But visits became sacraments. Zachary joined the ritual, driving her to memory clinics in the U District, her hand frail in his as they navigated waiting rooms scented with antiseptic and anxiety. You remind me of my first love, she'd confide on good days, eyes twinkling over crossword puzzles. Bold and kind, Liam would sketch her then, quicksilver captures of fleeting clarity, gifting the pages to her mirror frame. One afternoon, as goldenrod bloomed defiant along the lakeshore paths, Sarah wandered in her mind, calling Liam daddy mid-sentence, the slip a knife twist. He froze, canvas untouched, until Zachary pulled him outside, feet crunching gravel. It's her, not you, he murmured, forehead to forehead. You're here. Steady. Liam's exhale shuddered. What if I forget how? You won't. Kiss sealed it, salt of unshed tears. Art surged in response, Liam's series echoes born of those vigils. Portraits dissolving into landscapes, faces half reclaimed by forests or fog, themes of persistence earning a spot in a juried exhibit at the Fry Art Museum. Opening night, tuxedo casual. They arrived arm in arm, Sarah on Liam's other side, her dress a vintage floral that danced with her returning wit. Patrons murmured appreciations, a collector from Chicago bidding on the central piece. Sarah's profile emerging from Cascade Pines. It's haunting, she said, beaming at her son. Like remembering a dream. Champagne fizzed, toasts layered with subtext. But joy crested when a curator pulled Liam aside. Solo show next year. Seattle Art Fair tie-in. Zachary watched from across the room, heart swelling, slipping through the crowd to whisper, "Told you. Bleed true." Back home, euphoria turned electric, bodies celebrating in the shower's steam, water cascading like applause, hands and mouths mapping gratitude. Yet undercurrents stirred, external now. Freelance picked up for Zachary, a contract with a queer-owned apparel line in Soto, designs celebrating fluidity, rainbow fractals and interlocking silhouettes. Late nights at the table, laptop glow illuminating his focus. Liam brought midnight snacks, but envy flickered in his glances at the paycheck stubs. Making waves, he'd say, tone light, but Zachary caught the undernote, the artist's perennial dance with scarcity. Conversation brewed over breakfast burritos, Ethan out on a date. "Your success doesn't dim mine," Liam admitted. Fork paused. "But damn, it highlights the gaps." Zachary reached across, lacing fingers. "Then we fill them together. Co-op your pieces into my merch? Limited prints." Eyes lit, Liam's mind whirring. Collaborative. Us. The project ignited, sketches fusing. Zachary's vectors etched into Liam's abstracts, tees and totes sold at Pride markets. Proceeds split to Sarah's care fund. Launch at a pop-up in Pike Place. Fishmongers' calls mingling with queer anthems. Sales swift, feedback electric. "This is us," a buyer said, tracing the intertwined lines. Visible. Pride Month climaxed in parade floats and confetti rains. They marched with Ethan's crew. Rainbow flags snapping, chants a cathartic roar. Liam, usually reserved, hoisted a sign, "Love's original sin," his grin fierce beside Zachary's. Night devolved into after-parties, bodies pulsing in clubs, their dances close, sweat slick and unapologetic, a reclaiming. But bioluminescence faded to autumn's amber. Sarah's decline accelerating, confusion tides higher. A hospital stay followed a kitchen fall, tubes and beeps a sterile symphony. They camped in vinyl chairs, Liam's head on Zachary's shoulder. Ethan's snores a counterpoint. "She fought for us," Liam whispered at dawn. "Now we fight for her." Hospice transition came gentle, home aides weaving into routine, her apartment a haven of soft lights and music playlists. Ella Fitzgerald croons to anchor memories. Caregiving carved them raw, exhaustion etching hollows, but deepened intimacy. Stolen moments in her garden, lips brushing amid rose hips. "I choose this," Liam affirming. Fracture loomed from within, Zachary's ambition resurfacing. A national design contest, entry deadline looming, theme, resilience. Sleepless, he drafted, pixels pulsing with their story. Shattered forms reforming, inspired by Liam's series. Submission sent, but secrecy clung, fear of presumption. Reveal came casual over takeout pad thai, laptop open. Entered something. Us, kinda. Liam scrolled, breath catching. "This is me. Us." Pride swelled, but shadow crossed. Without asking, hurt flared old patterns. Thought it'd honor, not steal. "Feels exposed," Liam countered, voice tight. "My pain, your portfolio?" Argument escalated, words weapons. Appropriation accusations, trust's fragile thread snapping. Zachary retreated to studio, door shut, tears blurring screen. Liam paced living room, Ethan mediating hushed. "Breathe. He's building bridges, not burning." Dawn apology via coffee run, Liam sliding mug across table. "I overreacted. Vulnerability's my kryptonite." Zachary sipped, bittersweet. "And mine's rejection. But we're learning." Forgiveness flowered in touch, slow reconciliation on the couch, bodies sinking to heal. Contest results dropped midweek. Finalist nod, exhibition in Portland. Elation shared, road trip planned, Sarah's blessing via video call. Her smile faint but fierce. "Go shine, boys." Portland sojourn. Hotel overlooking Willamette. Exhibit opening electric. Their piece centerpiece. Murmurs of intimate power. Nightcap in Pearl District Bar. Toasts to futures. But Liam's hand trembled on glass. What if success pulls us apart? Zachary cupped his face, gaze steady. Then we tether tighter. Return invigorated. But Sarah's tide turned irreversible. Final days of vigil of stories and songs. Passing came quiet, autumn leaf drift. Room filled with her hum. Liam's portrait on wall. Zachary's hand in his. Ethan's tears silent. Funeral rain lashed. Cemetery evergreens bowing. Eulogies weaving her legacy. Nurse's hands healing. Mother's love unyielding. Reception at the apartment. Neighbors toasting her fire. Liam's speech cracking. She taught endurance. Now we live it. Grief's weight settled, but lifted in shared burdens. Sorting her effects, letters to kin. A box of Liam's childhood sketches unearthed. Yellowed proofs of early genius. She saw me, he marveled, folding one carefully. Healing's arc bent toward light. Holidays reframed. Thanksgiving potluck with friends. Toasts to absent but present. New Year's Eve. Rooftop under stars. Zachary's gift a custom easel. Engraved, bleed with me. Liam's return. A ring, simple band. Tungsten etched with their fused motif. Not proposal. Promise. Someday vows. Tears pricked. Zachary slipping it on. Someday soon. Winter deepened bonds. Art flourishing. Liam's solo prepped. Zachary's firm launch. Collabs expanding. But humanity whispered caution. A friend's coming out rejection echoing. Reminder of world's edges. Yet in cocoon, they thrived. Love's narrative unfolding. Resilient. Winter's grip on Seattle was unrelenting. A tapestry of frost-laced windows and hearth fires that mirrored the slow thaw in Liam and Zachary's souls. Grief for Sarah, a constant undercurrent, but no longer a riptide. The apartment, now theirs fully with Ethan's amicable sublet to a barista buddy, became a sanctuary of small rituals. Mornings with pour-over coffee and playlists of Sarah's jazz favorites. Evenings where Liam's brush danced while Zachary edited briefs on his tablet. Their silences companionable, punctuated by foot nudges under the desk. The promise ring glinted on Zachary's finger like a talisman. A quiet anchor during the churn of Liam's solo show prep. Pressure's a beast. Liam confessed one sleet-streaked night. Palette knife scraping excess from a canvas of turbulent seascapes. Waves crashing into human forms clinging to driftwood. What if it's not enough? After her. Zachary set aside his stylus. Crossing to kneed shoulders knotted tight. It's you. All of you. That's infinite. His lips brushed the nape, eliciting a shiver, the touch evolving into pull toward the bedroom, where they shed layers and laments, bodies a language of reassurance. Slow explorations, breaths harmonizing, climax a shared release that left them curled, whispers weaving plans for the exhibit's afterglow. Ethan's absence carved space but not void. He crashed Sundays for brunches, his guitar strums now laced with original lyrics about loss and light, beta testing on them over migas. You two are my muses, he'd say, winking, but sincerity underpinned. The brotherly triad evolved into chosen family, unbreakable. Zachary's design firm took root in a co-working space near the locks, a sunlit loft buzzing with creatives, his portfolio, bolstered by the Portland nod, drawing queer nonprofits for branding. Logos of interlocking hearts in gradient pride, taglines like visible threads. Late afternoons bled into power walks along the waterway. Phone on speaker with Liam, debriefing wins and woes. Client loved the iterations. Zachary would report wind whipping. Feels like we're threading the needle. Liam's responses crackled with pride. Knew you would. Dinner out? That Italian in Fremont. Dates reclaimed romance's pulse. Candlelit pasta twirls, wine loosening tongues to dream aloud. A cabin in the San Juans for anniversaries. Adoption talks post-vows. Perhaps a rescue dog named after Sarah's favorite bloom. Roots? Liam murmured over tiramisu. Fork paused. We're planting them. But winter's Paul bred introspection's thorns. A gallery assistant, ambitious and effusive, flirted overtly during a site visit, her touches lingering on Liam's arm as she cooed over mock-ups. He rebuffed politely, but recounting to Zachary over tea, the admission stirred old tempests. Felt nothing, Liam insisted, but Zachary's jaw tightened. Alex's echo in the mirror. Trust's a muscle, Zachary said, voice measured. But workout came in therapy's gym, unpacking projections weight. She's catalyst, not threat, the counselor affirmed. Homework. Daily affirmations scrawled on fridge notes. We choose each other. Flexed, it strengthened, blooming in spontaneous gestures. Zachary's surprise sketch of Liam at easel, framed for the studio. Liam's playlist of their songs, from First Kiss Indie to Sarah's Jazz, queued for drives. Exhibit install week loomed, trucks rumbling canvases to the fry, Liam's Echoes and Emerge, a 12-piece narrative arc, from Dissolution's Grays to Reclamation's Golds. Tech rehearsal night, under gallery halogens, Zachary manned the projector for ambient sound, waves and whispers, while Liam adjusted spots, their synergy seamless, crew envious. Power couple, one murmured, earning Liam's rare grin. Opening eve crackled, black tie optional drawing Seattle's art scene. Critics in sleek sheaths, collectors with checkbooks poised, queer allies in rainbow pins. Sarah's portrait anchored the entry, her eyes, Liam's eyes, welcoming. Toasts flowed, a critic from Artforum hailing, a queer odyssey of intimate fortitude. Buyers snapping half the series before intermission. Liam, Bowtie Askew, pulled Zachary into a service corridor mid-mingle, kiss hungry against stacked crates. This is ours. Heat surged, but decorum held, emerging flush to Ethan's cheers and a donor's bid on the finale piece. Their fused forms, waves parting to reveal entwined hands. After party at a loft in Belltown, skyline glittering, champagne morphing to cocktails, dances swaying to electronica. Liam and Zachary claimed a balcony nook, city hum below, rings catching starlight. Vows soon, Liam prompted, breath warm on ear. Zachary turned nose to nose. Spring, cherry blossoms. Elation carried into dawn. Cab home a tangle of limbs and laughter. Tumbling into bed as sun crested. Idol shattered mid-March. Zachary's firm landed a major contract, National Queer Youth Hotline rebrand, but demanded travel, coasts crisscrossed for focus groups. 2 weeks, he assured. Packing at the airport, Liam's goodbye kiss lingering like farewell. East Coast whirlwind. New York meetings and glass towers. Boston's brick charm yielding raw stories from survivors. His designs evolving. Icons of bridges, not walls. Nights hotel solitude gnawed. FaceTimes with Liam fragmented by time zones. Static-laced, I love yous. Crack appeared on return flight. Voicemail from Ethan. Urgent. Liam spiraling. Show fallout. Critic retracted praise, called it derivative. He's holed up. Heart plummeting, Zachary rerouted, landing to cab straight to studio. Door ajar, paint fumes thick, Liam amid wreckage. Canvases slashed, brushes snapped, bourbon bottle sentinel. Failed, he rasped, eyes wild. All of it, echoes of nothing. Zachary dropped bag, wading through debris, pulling him up. Breathe, it's noise. Liam shoved, grief feral. You weren't here, polishing logos while I drown. Hurt recoiled but love anchored. I'm here now, we fight waves together. Collapse followed. Liam sobbing into chest, Zachary rocking, whispers of worth till exhaustion claimed. Dawn cleanup. Sorting salvageable, trashing irredeemable. Tea steaming as autopsy began. Retracted review traced to rival sabotage. Alex's fingerprints faint but there. Anonymous tip line. Fury galvanized. Liam filing cease and desist. Lawyer's office crisp with resolve. No more shadows, he vowed, pen scratching. Healing's bomb. Retreat to the cabin, spring thaw greening islands. Hikes through fern gullies. Sketches by Titapools, nights star-canopied. Bodies reaffirming in firelight. Tender, then torrid, reclaiming agency. Back, resilience bloomed. Liam's rebuttal op-ed in local arts rag. Art's not theft. It's theft when stolen. Viral in queer circles. Invitations flooding. Zachary's hotline launch aced. Billboards blooming nationwide. His name in credits. Betrothal formalized over Sakura picnic in the Arboretum. blossoms shedding like confetti, ring exchange simple, gold bands etched with waves. Partners, Liam said, slipping it on. Equals. Ethan officiated mock vows, grilling hot dogs post-ceremony. To endless encores. Summer hummed harmony, wedding plans gentle. Small affair at the cabin, guests intimate, friends, allies, Sarah's jazz on loop. But prelude shadowed. Zachary's fertility ponderings, casual over beers. Ever think kids? Stirring Liam's ghosts, adoption versus bio, ethics tangled. Dialogue deepened in counselor's glow. Paths, not prescriptions, she guided. Books stacking bedside on surrogacy, fostering. Crisis crested unexpectedly. Fire at the studio, electrical fault, half Liam's stock ash. Insurance labyrinth, grief reignited, but community rallied. Fundraiser at the cafe. Auctions of Zachary's prints yielding rebuild funds. From ruins, Phoenix. Expanded space, community mural wall, queer artists invited. Opening bash, paint fresh, Liam toasting. From ash we rise, together. Love's depth plumbed and quiet. Hospital volunteer shifts, holding hands with scared youth, mirroring their youth. We survived, Zachary whispered post-shift. Drive home fogged. Now we light. Autumn gilded edges. Wedding eve rain cleared to stars. Cabin aglow. Vows dawn fresh. In storms and stills, I choose you. Ceremony lakeside. Ethan strumming. Rings exchanged true. Kiss sealing under arbor of madronas. Reception fireside. Dances barefoot. Joy unbridled. Honeymoon hike in Olympics. Tents pitched under alders, nights cosmic, days exploratory. Canyons carved by time, mirroring their journey. Return to life enriched. Rings twin beacons, future vast. Autumn's palette deepened into winter's hush once more, but for Zachary and Liam, married now in the quiet irrevocability of shared names. Liam Hayskeller, a hyphenated bridge. The season felt less like siege and more like sanctuary. The cabin's memory a touchstone etched in vows and wildflower crowns. Seattle embraced them back with its perennial drizzle, streets slick as promises renewed. Their Green Lake home a hive of post-honeymoon glow. Walls hung with framed collab prints, kitchen chalkboards scrawled with grocery lists and inside jokes. The studio reborn as a beacon for local queer artists. Open mics blending poetry slams with live sketches. Ethan's integration evolved, his guitar gigs landing paid slots at clubs in Belltown, crashing sporadically with tales of hookups and heartaches. The trio's dynamic a fluid constellation, brothers by blood and choice, Zachary the gravitational center pulling orbits close. You're the glue, Ethan said one crisp morning over oat pancakes, syrup dripping symbolic. Don't let us stick too hard. Laughter rippled, but truth lingered. Marriages wait, subtle as added rings, pressed them to evolve. Liam's solo follow-up, Tethers, explored connections' tensile strength. Canvases of knotted ropes in oceanic blues, figures lashed yet liberated. Earned a traveling exhibit nod, first stop Portland, then whispers of MoMA outreach. Install weeks meant separations, Liam's flights brief but aching. Hotel calls laced with miss your heat, and video teases that blurred into dawn. Zachary's firm burgeoned, hotline success spawning satellite projects. App interfaces for trans resource hubs, billboards in Bible Belt cities proclaiming, you are seen. Late nights at the loft, screens aglow. He'd text Liam mid-render. Your wave motif in the icons. Feels right. Replies pinged from green rooms. Ours. Always. But marriage's mirror reflected fissures, magnified in domestic minutiae. Forgotten laundry sparking snips. Liam's late returns from mentor sessions with young painters igniting Zachary's. Am I sidelined? Vents. Therapy sustained. Biweekly anchors where I feel statements wove safety nets. Growth isn't linear, the counselor reminded, assigning date jars, slips of prompts like stargaze or cook blindfolded, drawn weekly to reclaim whimsy. One slip yielded confess a fear. Over wine by the lake, dock creaking under weight, Liam admitted, losing you to the world's pull, like dad, Zachary countered. burdening you with my shadows. Tears salted the water, embrace dissolving doubts, lips sealing pacts. Parenting ponderings resurfaced, gentle probes over brunches. Fostering seminar attended, stories of kids in flux stirring hearts. Not replacing, Liam said. Hand on Zachary's knee in the agency office, pamphlets fanned. Expanding. Application filed. Home study a dance of disclosures. Past pains aired, strength spotlighted. The social workers nod affirming, you're prepared. Wait stretched months. Winter yielding to tentative springs. But match came sudden. 12-year-old Theo, freckled firecracker with a sketchpad habit and eyes haunted by group home transients. First meet at a park, neutral ground. Theo's wary grin cracking at Liam's. Wanna draw badgers? Ice melted over picnics, playdates evolving to overnights. Theo's backpack light but filling with their traces. Crayons, a flannel too big. Adoption hearings loomed, paperwork a gauntlet, but cleared with Ethan's character witness. His testimony tear-jerked. They rebuilt me too. Gavel fell, family forged. Theo's hands small in theirs walking courthouse steps. Home, he whispered. Seattle's reign of baptism. Parenting's rhythm reshaped. School runs to art's magnet. Zachary's designs now including Theo's doodles. Whimsical beasts in client pitches. Liam's studio sessions with apprentice Theo. Mini easels side by side. Paint smudges badges of belonging. Bedtime stories blended Sarah's jazz lore with queer fables. Theo's questions. Was Uncle Ethan always cool? Prompting histories softened for young ears. Challenges crested inevitable. Theo's nightmares of old placements. Waking screams piercing nights. Liam rocking him while Zachary brewed chamomile. Tag team tenderness. Schoolyard taunts over two dads. Met with counselor scripts and pride stickers. Theo's resilience blooming. Backpack now heavy with friendships. External storms brewed. Liam's exhibit tour demanded weeks away. Theo's first recital clashing. Zachary solo parenting through dress rehearsals and doubts. You're enough, he affirmed to Mirror. But calls home crackled with we miss the chaos. Tour finale in New York. MoMA annex buzzing. Theo's finger paint inspired a catalog note. Family beaming via stream. Returns airport reunion. Theo's sprint into arms. Daddy Lee? Echoing. Hearts full. But undercurrent tugged. Zachary's firm-eyed expansion to LA outpost. Old temptation veiled as opportunity. Boardroom pitch. Lead the satellite. Flexible. Mulling silent. Guilt nod. Confessed over family hike in Discovery Park. Ferns whispering. Feels like before, he admitted. Theo scouting ahead for slugs. Pulling away. Liam halted, hands framing face. Then anchor here. We build satellites in Seattle. Compromise. Consult remote. Firm relenting. Loyalty deepened. Betrayal's specter revisited via Alex's final gasp. A tabloid blurb. Art world's dirty secret. Plagiarism past haunts honeymooners. Dredged from archives. Timed for tour buzz. Fury flared. Lawyers looping. But media savvy now. Joint statement. Our story's ours. Rise above. Backlash flipped to support. Queer outlets amplifying. Exhibit attendance surging. Crisis alchemized to catalyst. Theo's school project on family heroes. His essay on dads who fight shadows read aloud. Classroom applause a bomb. Home that night, drawings pinned. Superheroes in capes of canvas and code. Years folded like accordions. Theo's teens a whirlwind. First crush on a classmate. Awkward diner debriefs with ice cream metaphors. Driver's ed rex minor. Lessons in grace. Liam's gallery permanent. Teaching adjunct at UW. Zachary's firm national. Collabs with Theo's graphic tees for charity. Anniversaries layered. Fifth at cabin. Theo's first solo campout nearby. Stars their confetti. Vows renewed lakeside. Words evolved. In fractures and fulls, I choose us. Climax quieted to crescendo. Theo's art scholarship acceptance. Tearful airport send-off to RESD. Empty nest a pause, not void. They grow, Liam said. Bed vast but warm, hands rediscovering. Empty echo to echo, but filled with new, fostering short-term, teens rotating through, stories shared over bonfires. Community deepened, queer center board seats, mentorships weaving wider nets. Reflective Eve, gray hairs threading, Zachary traced Liam's temple. Shocked me still that first night. Liam chuckled, hazel eyes gold-flecked. Best crash ever. Legacy bloomed. Theo's exhibits crediting Roots. Their story in memoirs ghosted for youth guides, from party to promise. Betrayals transmuted to testimonies, crises to chapters of courage. In Seattle's eternal rain, they walked locks arm in arm, salmon leaping like leaps of faith, love's current enduring, human in its hum, flawed, fierce, forever.